Hey, my name is Anthony Robbins. I'm a nursing home administrator. I practice in the state of Wyoming. And today we're going to be reviewing what life is like in a nursing home, a video on YouTube put out by BuzzFeed. I'm going to be responding with just my thoughts and comments and kind of some behind the scenes knowledge to hopefully demystify nursing homes, but also to, you know, connect with others in the field or concerned with the field. So, without further ado, we are going to start this video.
One, two, three, four, five, six. My name is Elat Nahum. I'm owner and administrator of Bet Shalom.
So it looked like we have some restorative therapy going on there, or maybe activities which can be done by a therapeutic recreation specialist or by a certified activities um, professional.
Bet Shalom basically mean House of Peace, and it's RCFE, Residential Care Facility for the Elderly.
So I had to look this up. What is an RCFE? RCFE stands, of course, for Residential Care Facility for the Elderly, which is what she just said. And one important distinction between an RCFE and an SNF or skilled nursing facility is the RCFE is a legal entity created by the state of California. So it's not a skilled nursing facility or SNF. That type of facility is an entity created by federal law. I'm not an expert on California state law or the scope or practice of RCFEs, so I'm not going to be able to give a whole lot of behind the scenes advice specific to RCFEs, but I imagine there are going to be a few parallels. One difference, though, that I can think of right off the bat is just simply who pays for care there. And my thought is that the payer source there is going to be probably the private individual and the state of California, and probably not the federal government, Medicare, unless it's duly certified as a skilled nursing facility. Maybe we'll get more insight on that by the end of the video.
You see people that have been professors at UCLA, doctors, pilots, and all of a sudden they can't walk, they forget their name. It's hard to watch and to know that it's just a matter of time before I get there, before my mother gets there, before my grandmother gets there. It's been a few years of a lot of reality checks on a daily basis.
I feel like that's a really common thing among employees working in long-term care is it's like, hey, we want to make a nice place because eventually we could live here and we want to live in a nice place. So there's a lot of concern in the long-term care industry about creating a good space as the norm.
So this second facility is just down the block from our first place. This house has been a big blessing for us. My mother-in-law got very, very sick. I wanted to bring her here, so in order for me to bring her here, I had to have a facility with the right staff, with the right caregivers. When I got my license, 2 weeks later, she passed away. So this is like a memory of my mother-in-law, and also it's been a big blessing for all of us. How are you, Mama? How is everything?
Most things are okay.
I'm gonna pause this here because I've been looking at the house and I really like what I see. I like the feel of the home. This is what long-term care facilities are going towards. It is the trend to deinstitutionalize the care setting. So kind of the ability of companies to deinstitutionalize is limited based on a number of areas, but in the coming years, more and more of these types of long-term care settings are gonna pop up, and I think it's great to see. I encourage it as much as I can in my facility. Um, like any other provider, there are barriers. One of the big ones being just financial, and another one being space. You have to have space first to provide medical care. In this case, what I think I'm looking at is more of a living a situation agreement rather than a professional care setting. And I'm not saying these guys aren't professional caregivers. I'm simply saying that skilled nursing facilities are a medical facility, whereas this looks like a type of assisted living, which is not medically focused. It's medically, I don't know, accented.
Okay, good, good. I'm happy. So basically, we have 24 clients. One of them is Elsie. She does beets, flowers, and beautiful art.
This was my hobby of making beaded flowers.
How long does it take you to make one of these?
Oh, sometime.
I have to pause this here because there's something I caught on to that I absolutely love. And I want to focus on what the resident said. She said, "This is my hobby." And it doesn't matter really what the hobby is because the principle can be drawn from just that one statement. It's her hobby. If her hobby was to watch MASH or cook ramen or paint china dishes or make beaded flowers, it looks like this facility still pushes to be able to help her continue to pursue her hobby or live her life as best as she's able to. And that is a big push among trendsetters in long-term care is the idea of, hey, yes, we are a medical facility, but this resident still is alive. They're a person. They have a life to live. So, for example, in my facility, when somebody admits, there's a set amount of days where the activities personnel are supposed to meet them and ask what they like to do and find out their hobbies. And then they're going to try to tailor activities to meet their hobbies as best they can. And sometimes, there are some things that we just can't deliver well, like race car driving. There are other things that we can deliver well, like, nail painting nails, or sometimes going fishing, going to the casino. Sometimes residents, especially new residents, they want a little bit of time and they just want to sit in their room and watch TV, and that's okay too because it's their preference. The idea is, you know what, we're going to deliver medical care, but this is also their home. And so we are going to enable them as best we are able to live their life. And the idea is to provide them their highest uh, get them to their highest practicable level. And that's actually a federal term, highest practicable level. And when survey comes in, survey being the state to review our practices and make sure we're doing what they require us to do. The idea that they're always pushing for is, are you helping them to reach their highest practicable level? So with that, I'll go on.
Taking care of the elderly is very rewarding, especially when they improve. Some of them come here and they are quite frail, and I see how they progress and they actually become healthier, participate more.
How are you?
I love her accent.
How is everything?
Good.
We also have another client. Her name is Loella. When she first moved into our place, she was not able to walk or talk or eat even. Now, thank God, she's eating, walking, and talking, and she's so happy. What letter is this one? That's right. And this one is? In the afternoon, basically, we do bingo.
That almost looks like a type of speech therapy, or maybe again recreation, life enrichment to help them kind of residents with dementia kind of help orient their brain and help them stay with the world of reality as long as they're able to.
Puzzles, arts, and crafts because it's very good for the cognitive skills.
Got a PhD and taught at Washington State and then at UCLA, retired professor from there. If you're not used to living in institutional care, it's the adjustment. It would be good to have more younger people have some experience with facilities like this.
Can you put H back? Where is H? No, don't eat it.
The challenge in this job is when people decline and you actually see how they deteriorate, you find yourself being really helpless.
She's absolutely right. You get close to some people in this line of work, and it can be hard because they're either going to rehabilitate and leave the center and likely never come back, or they're going to pass away at some point. And when you watch that happen, that end of life process occurring, you kind of feel powerless, and you are powerless to do anything except help that person have the best life they can from that point forward. So it's a very rewarding thing, but it's also a very hard thing. Um, just last week, we had a resident that we were all close to suddenly pass away, uh, kind of unexpectedly. And, you know, there were a few CNAs and a nurse or two that had to step out, take a breath, reorient themselves, and kind of be like, okay, now I have to provide postmortem care to this body at this point. And, it kind of became a quiet day because they're in mourning. They still have the job to do, but you got to respect that they're people, the CNAs and RNs and everybody else are people, and they deserve that space and that time to mourn. At the same time, your residents are people and their needs don't wait even if another resident has passed away. And so it can be a hard balance to find, but it's something that you're going to find in long-term care or you're going to get out of long-term care.
Let's get them out and dinner going also. Today they have a special treat.
That looks really good, not gonna lie. Those plates almost look exactly like the plates we use in my facility.
You gonna have dinner? The comida? Bueno. Dinner!
I feel the elderly are neglected a lot by their own families. And it's sad because the elderly kind of want to have their own family around.
I have some family members who don't even visit, and that's the sad part. And sometimes we try to call them to speak to them, they don't even answer the phone.
I want to talk about this real quick because she's absolutely right, and I keep saying absolutely right because, they are. Um, there are some families that are overly involved, there are some families that are appropriately involved, and there are some families that are underly involved or not involved at all in their family member's life after they drop them off at the door, and sign them in. And, you try to take care of them. When Christmas comes around, you try to replace the presence of their family as best you can. But the truth is they want their family, and eventually, for some residents, you become their family, but you're still not a fully adequate substitute for who their real family is. Um, and it can be heartbreaking. And, thankfully I work for a good corporation where every year they email me and say, "Hey, who among your residents, give us 2 residents that we can buy presents for and send them presents so they have presents on Christmas." And then we also in the local facility try to make sure everybody has presents on come Christmas morning.
I haven't been happy this year. My wife died, my daughter died, my son ran off with all the money. So it ain't been too many happy days.
That's one.
Uh, Now, this statement is actually really heartbreaking because an astute administrator will recognize that this would constitute an allegation of abuse via financial exploitation or theft. Now, to be completely fair, we don't know whether his son ran off with all his money, but we know he believes it. It's likely the administrator in this video knows the full backstory as to why he's saying this, and it's 100% possible that his son did take his money. But if this sounds new to the administrator, it's important to do an investigation into it. You have to ask questions and get authorities involved. I've done this on a few occasions. A call to Adult Protective Services, the Ombudsman, and maybe local law enforcement could be in order. And then you have to ask questions like, did his son really take his money or set it aside in a trust to pay for his care? Is this resident um, having difficulty with reality because of some cognitive process? Is he really in touch? Did this gentleman simply run out of his money to pay for this care? And the son said he's not going to pay for the care personally, which is totally fine. Children shouldn't be responsible for the healthcare costs of their parents. There are welfare programs in place. So the gentleman is Is the gentleman on Medicaid? That's the type of welfare. I don't know the answers. I'll never find them out, but I bet the administrator in the video knows these things and knows whether or not the son really took off with the gentleman's money, and maybe the son spent it all on gambling and or just living life, which happens. A lot of children of residents will take their parents' resources and pay utility bills and whatnot because they're living with their parents. But at that point, they're not their parents' bills, so their parents' assets can't be used to pay for them. And some residents' families do get in trouble for that and do get talked to about that. So here's my advice to anybody watching this is when you are preparing to have a loved one put in a facility, don't put your own personal assets on the line for their care, but also don't use their assets to pay for your life. Okay?
One of the things, like, it really hurt me deep inside. Just take the moment and come and visit your parents. If it was the other way around, that your parents will come and visit you. One parent can take care of 10 kids. 10 kids cannot take care of one parent.
Hashtag truth.
When I was living on my own, I used to celebrate the holidays, and I would always call up nursing homes and ask them to please send me a few of their people so that their people could then enjoy the holidays to their fullest and not spend it lonely in a room by themselves. Please remember the elders because they have contributed so much to all of our lives.
I want to echo that. You know, our elders have lived a full life and they deserve to be taken care of, and it's healthy for us to take care of them. But visit them. They look forward to visitors so much. They see the same people day in and day out, and sometimes staff member turnover is so high they never get a chance to grow a real personal relationship with the staff members. Um, so it provide them a an anchor to their real life and their life before they came into the facility. Help them know that they're loved. They deserve it. So visit your family members. Okay, it's really important.
I had a client and I had asked him, Sheldon, is there anything that you need? Do you want me to do anything for you? Is there any food you want me to pick up for you? And he said, no, just please, if you could come and talk to me.
1, 2, 3, 4. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Just visit your grandparents, visit your aunt who's 90 years old, who's home by herself with a caregiver, and have a conversation with them. Spend 10 to 15 minutes with them, and you will see how much they thrive.
I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine.
There is a beautiful, beautiful psalm in the book of Psalms, which King David wrote, that says in Hebrew, Al tashlicheni le'et zikna, which translates to, don't cast me away at old age. And when I lose my strength and my ability, don't let me go. And I live by that sentence. It's meant for our parents and for our loved ones when they get old, to not throw them away, to not cast them away, to not let go, but to be there for them, especially in the last years of their lives, to nurture them, to take care of them. And when it's your time, people will do the same for you.
So overall, great video. I would argue that the title is not true to the content, but that's mostly a technicality. If we go up here, what life is like in a nursing home, we know it wasn't, or we have a pretty good guess that it wasn't an actual nursing home. Um, Most nursing homes of the future, I do believe, are going to be closer to this picture than the reputation of nursing homes in the pre-2000s. There are still facilities that are stuck in institutional models. I run one of those facilities. There's absolutely a ton of place for institutionalized care, though. But as the number of long-term care facilities like these increases, the industry's ability to meet diverse healthcare needs in more home-like settings is going to increase. So the mix of institutionalized care to home-like care is gonna decrease, and that's an awesome thing in my opinion. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you didn't, please feel free to leave a comment as to what I could do, what I could have done better. I'm looking forward to expanding this channel and doing other types of content to help me in spreading information. Um, Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I really am looking to help educate the public, network with other long-term care administrators and personnel in the long-term care setting, and hopefully talk to industry leaders and thought leaders and see if it becomes a less mysterious, less scary thing for Joe Schmo public. I think it'll be a really wonderful experience for myself, and I'm looking forward to hearing back from all of you. Until then, have a great day and drive safe.